Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me today for this online virtual training session on how to write better police reports. My name is Christian Bonett. I am currently the Deputy Chief of a college police department. Prior to that, I spent 25 years with the Warren, Michigan Police Department. There, I was in charge of our training division. I was the captain of patrol, captain of criminal investigations, and ultimately the captain of police administration. So why is that relevant? I spent much of my career being a supervisor, which means that I have authored and read thousands and thousands and thousands of police reports, many of them bad, unfortunately. I want to give you just a quick overview of what we're going to be working on today. Why is this training session so important? Well, despite what you see on TV, studies have shown that only 4% of an officer's time is spent responding to violent crime. The shootouts and the police chases and all that good stuff. That's just not reality. I mean, it does happen. However, studies also show that 50% of an officer's time is spent writing. So a majority of our day is spent doing field notes, traffic accidents, traffic tickets, memos. The big ones, of course, are criminal reports, incident reports, criminal investigations. And we record everything that we do in our daily logs. And this training is very important because everything that we write in law enforcement is subject to FOIA, or the Freedom of Information Act, which means that information is out there. Anybody interested in seeing your work can FOIA and get your work. The reality is, in a large city and even in small cities, somewhere something's going bad. Something's going wrong. It's not just a peaceful drive to work today. There'll be an injury accident and blocking traffic. Someone somewhere is being assaulted or the victim of a crime. It's not just a quiet day on the assembly line. There'll be an industrial accident. Everything I mentioned results in some type of a police report. And those reports, again, are part of, or can be part of, discovery. It can be subpoenaed or FOIA'd. So, why are good quality police reports so important? Good reports create a historical record for everything that happens in society. They're the basis for all criminal complaints. And that's important because one of our primary duties in law enforcement is to hold people accountable for their bad actions. And also, good reports are important because we have a duty to the victims of crime. They're often the basis for most, if not all, civil complaints. And very importantly, in this training today, we're going to focus on this, is that good reports go to the officer and the police department's reputation. Not to mention that research indicates that strong writing abilities correlate with career advancement, which is important to all of us. Who sits on your oral interviews in a police department? It's your supervisors and it's your administrators. Are you someone that always needed to be corrected? Are you someone whose reports often had to be failed and sent back for corrections? Or are you someone who's really squared away and have a good reputation with your bosses? They are going to be the ones sitting on your promotional exams, and those interviews often account for 50% of your grade in your testing process. Bad reports in an era of transparency and with FOIA, they damage trust. They erode professionalism. They give the appearance of incompetence. It leads to lost cases. Lost cases are very time-consuming. They're very expensive. And with keeping the victim in mind, when you write a bad report, it leads to re-victimization. Okay, that's really important. If you've been in law enforcement for a few years, we've all had this happen, where we'll be in court. Our victim will be sitting in court with us. And because we were lazy and we wrote a bad report, we get embarrassed and charges get dropped, and you're the one that has to look the victim in the face. So we will briefly touch on writing and its emphasis or lack of emphasis in law enforcement training. Entry level requirements have remained unchanged for decades across the country. In Michigan, the academy requires 594 hours of instruction. 119 hours of that is on investigations. 257 hours is on police skills like CPR, firearms, and physical skills and defensive tactics. But only 12 hours, it's hard to believe, is spent on report writing, especially after we've established that up to 50% of your day is spent writing reports. So this translates to a severe gap in the knowledge, skills, and abilities that you need to be a successful, well-rounded law enforcement officer. So today we're going to give you some quick, simple, and easy guidelines to help you write better reports. We're going to follow the 5 C's of good report writing. That's completeness, clarity, conciseness, concrete, and correct language. Something that's very important to know about police writing is the doctrine of the 4 corners doctrine, meaning no matter how important something is to your case, no matter how important something that you saw, heard, or smelled in your field, in what happened in the field, if it's not in the 4 corners of that document, you cannot testify to that. This goes to completeness. We're also going to touch on the 7 deadly sins of report writing. These are the 7 things that you're going to really want to avoid. So today we're going to have you look at and edit some good reports, some bad reports. You're going to put your supervisor's cap on. We'll practice these principles by writing incident reports from some scenarios that we're going to provide to you. To sum it up, I'm going to give you some really good, easy to follow rules. And if you stay engaged, you will, at the end of the day, write better police reports. So we are going to take a quick 10-minute break, and then we're going to jump in.